Hi, hello and welcome on back, everybody. I went AFK for a bit, took care of a couple of chores, and now we're back. Something funny I noticed before we get into it. One of my recent videos, my Fortnite videos, which they were kind of bad, I didn't do too great. I was doing ranked. I was starting to get up there to my skill level and maybe even beyond. But anyways, one of the episodes ended in 1337 for the timestamp, and that's just funny because that's LEET for those that don't know. And that's one of the first things that cybersecurity professionals check for, like someone trying to connect to port 1337 or the LEET port, and like what it used to be known as. It was kind of like a generally, gen, generally accepted or known uh, number amongst hackers, malicious actors, and cybersecurity professionals for getting pwned or getting owned, or all your base belong to us. Like little things like that, or how I used to put Rickrolls as a redirect, Rickrolls and Tunok tunes for people that tried to access a web page or a web server that weren't on a certain network. So it was a way of testing to make sure. First, I did it for anyone who wasn't on CSU campus, and then I did it for anyone who was on CSU campus, like a blacklist. So I learned how to specify who I want to direct where based on their IP addresses. So, which can be spoofed, and you can even spoof MAC addresses. So, I mean, it's not like, yeah. But, anyways, I digress. Back to political science and psychology and behavioral. So, I'm picking apart my own camp, my own political party, the Democrats, and I posted something on President Biden's post about the Putin interview. You know, because I want to know. I'm excited to see President Biden's response to Tucker Carlson's interview because, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a great interview. Like, it wasn't like a whole complete razzle dazzle, but considering the circumstance and how, like, we're kind of at odds, like, it's a stalemate, like a very cautious, intense time between us and Russia. I mean, especially with Ukraine going off the way it is, like, and whoever is involved in that. Like, we just got done with 20 years of we did it by the book and we did everything. We tried to do it right, or the quote unquote right way, and we still killed a lot of civilians. I mean, I looked it up. It was actually closer to, I want to say, 400,000 civilians in our 20-year. I was saying 20,000, and like I started thinking about it, so I was like, that doesn't sound right. It sounds a little on the low side. But then even this Israel Gaza thing, like there's like tens of thousands of people dying. This most recent one on the Super Bowl Sunday, when Sunday alone is supposed to be a holy day for Christians and all that, and most of this nation. Not all. Actually, I don't even know about most now. Anyways, I digress. The point is, you know, uh, a lot of death, a lot of unnecessary death over imaginary painted lines. And I actually sent. So this lady, it's still this one lady that I'm discussing all these things with, or a lot of these things with. And, well, that's cool. There's like a tree on the cliff. So much cool scenery. I love it. But, anyways, Um, she's coming at me and she's falling apart too. Like she's kind of scatter plotting. Like she brought up Nazis because well, I think she's just addressing everything in the interview. But like in the Tucker Putin interview, Putin didn't say like all of Ukraine are Nazis. He said he was trying to drive the Nazis out of Ukraine or stamp out. I forget what he actually said. I don't think that I'm like doing it justice. I'm not saying it how it was said, but um, honoring Nazis, which I guess happened in Canada. And and not a huge deal. It's concerning, but it's almost as it's right up there with Trump saying that there's fine people on both sides of like the white supremacist debate. And I mean, and I guess to a point that needs to be said that like these aren't people, these aren't monsters. These are actual human beings, and there's the potential for this monstrous behavior through all of us, and we all need to be vigilant. We all need to be on our guard, and that's why religion is so popular is because at its base, every religion, every one that I've seen or heard about or talked about, has been a guideline for human activity. That's it. And if you just kind of blur your eyes, that's all it is. Like, but then you get into the specifics of how to do that. There's a us versus them type of mentality from back when the world was very young, but now the world is very small and everybody's a lot more connected, and we have vested interest in peace because we know a lot of people of the quote unquote other sides that it's being so mixed. Like the world is becoming a melting pot. And it kind of, to a point, already was. I mean, America, we think we're so great and we're like the first to do anything, which we are. I mean, internet, phones, for a lot of things. Um, but for these ideas of peace and war, like we're 300 years. That's our history. Boom. And in that history, we did a native genocide and killed all the local inhabitants here of North America and a lot of Central America. Of course, that was Spain and England, and over the different conquests and conquistadors and all that stuff. Oh, look at that. That's cool. So, but anyways, and even my understanding of that, like I knew, like yeah, Columbus and this and that, and the natives died off, and I didn't make the connection of how vile it was until I saw this kid protesting it on CSU campus. I was in the computer science building up on the balcony with my colleague. Well, sorry, I'm all wheezing. I think I might have caught my kid's crud. We're dealing with some strep throat, so I might be working from home again tomorrow because I'm kind of sick. And I love that I can do that. I mean, it does bum out. It bums me out a little bit, and it bums out my coworkers that we don't have as much face-to-face time. But at the same time, for a lot of the work that I do, I'm in charge of support. So our ticket system and everything, that's just me. Like boom, at least the initial. And that's what I did over at this other aerospace company with a lot of like ITAR data and stuff. We had to follow a rigorous rule set for fear of like prison, basically. Like don't screw up. It's only prison. Is that a ship? I think that, yeah, that's a ship flipped upside down. Ah, so cool. We'll leave it alone for now. Like, I don't think there's anything in there besides like the heart of the sea that could be worth anything. Um, Also, I'll be coming back through that way. So, anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place. But back to the Putin discussion. And so, but I liken the Nazis in Ukraine to be like the Deep South or even just the South and the Confederacy here in the U.S. We've got statues that we're trying to remove of Southern war generals, war heroes, and all that. And yes, they are patriotic, but they were for a losing side of a civil war. But they were still Americans, South Americans, or South Side? I'm just kidding. But like how silly it is, but how repetitive it is. I mean, we have it in gang stuff now, except not really. I mean, we have a lot of communication now. Denver has hybrid gangs, which that's kind of confusing. And I've worked with a lot of people coming from prison, so it's like kind of had an inside look at just prison gang stuff, which is really the last bastion of a lot of gang nonsense. I mean, or need or even appeal, because as the nation legalizes weed, and decriminalizes a lot of other things to where you're not afraid of going to prison for like, years. A lot of that stuff's going to fizzle out. The black market's going to disappear, I can tell you that. And as far as the opiate addiction, the opiate pandemic, which is the main thing that Trump is trying to like rally against, and a lot of Republicans are pointing their fingers like, oh, fentanyl and all this. Well, a lot of that opiate addiction starts from prescribed medicines like OxyContin and kind of Vicodin. Yeah, I guess Vicodin, but Percocet I think is a little more serious, and then OxyContin is like that's almost a point of no return. You could get really addicted to opiates on that. Thankfully, I've never had to worry about that. In fact, I was prescribed Vicodin when I was younger, and that's why I kind of hesitated to that because I didn't feel it was all that addicting, honestly. Like I think it was right up there with Tylenol. In fact, I want to say that I've had better experience with pain relief. And again, this was for migraines, which now I have Maxalt, which just neutralizes it and it just kind of like makes it go away, and I still feel a little funny, but I'm not like in pain or like losing my vision. But anyways, the Vicodin, I could take it or leave it. Like I mean, and as rare as my migraines were, you know, plus up in Hickville, we tasted beer in our like fifth grade. I remember I sipped a beer. Actually, I sipped a beer in first grade. We came across a six pack of Budweiser, my friend and I, and in some adult magazines, it was like shopping, like ads or something. It was weird. We almost thought it was like robots, like role play, like they were trying to pretend they were robots, but really they were like wearing like leather lingerie and stuff. And like, anyways, I digress. But the point is I'm alive. I'm what a lot of people would consider is pretty successful. I've got a couple beautiful kiddos that are smart and kind and everything, and got a good job. I'm trying to make heads or tails of politics and nonsense. Uh, Anyways, back to that. My point is the South. We were tearing down a bunch of statues. In fact, I remember posting a meme about how what was it was like a cartoon character. Oh, I want to say Pikachu. Pikachu has been around longer than the Confederacy was, and so like it makes more sense, and it's been more of an influence in American culture, even though it's Japanese origin. Japanese or Chinese? I hate that I don't really know that for sure. It could be either, honestly. I think it's Japan. But anyways, not important. It's just like the fact that you can still have American pride, but let's maybe not praise that. Like the Confederate flag. I mean, it's insulting to a lot of people to not consider the main factor of the war was slavery. I mean, yes, it came down to money in the end, but how did you produce your money? Like slavery, or you just couldn't manage a lot of those plantations without slave labor. Like they couldn't afford it. Same as now, like we can't really afford a good minimum wage, especially with like taxes and fees and audits and all that stuff for the lower people, which, Biden's even doing away with and that's the funny thing. I'm arguing with this person that we align with our views and stuff. If you look at our walls on XApp, they're pretty similar. In fact, I'm about to drop this razzle dazzle on her about how I've seen people say that women shouldn't vote. It's still ridiculous. I don't know. And then I see Allie K. Miller. I'm an AI genius. She's a big time professional, very successful in AI. Former Amazon something or another, and she was posting on Instagram about how I think February 11th, yesterday, was like something like National Women Appreciation in Science or National Women in Science Day or something like that. Like an amazingly cool holiday, and like I'm all about helping women get into STEM. And I remember when ACMW was at least considered women only. That's what I thought it was, but I had a friend that kept going, and I always thought that was weird. I was like, you actually go to the meetings? I mean, like I talk about it. Like if I see any women that would, or well, females that would like to get into computer science, I always told them about ACMW. But anyways, my point being is complete opposites. You've got, very brilliant women doing these very nerdy and awesome things that are going to revolutionize the tech industry, our lives. Like it's a little scary because it's close to Skynet, but all this AI stuff, there's a lot of women behind it now, and it's amazing, and rightfully so. And we need more of that to kind of prove that they have every right we do. I mean, like we should have proved back during the women's suffrage movement. That whole thing, like there was, yeah. Anyways, so that's what's at stake here, and that's why we need to stay vigilant on that. But at the same time, not too vigilant. Like this lady's kind of jumping down my throat. She scattershotted, like I want to say, like 5 or 6 texts or 5 or 6 posts, and she's not even like the soldier. At least numbered them. He'd have like a 2 parenthesis, 3 parenthesis. Like if he knew he was going on a rant, and neither of these people, the soldier or we'll call this Democrat lady, or we'll call her Lady Ukraine. Because that's what well, maybe not Lady Ukraine, that seems almost like degenerate. Like the soldier and the lawyer, that's Mary, yeah, the professor, and here I am being all chauvinistic. And the soldier and the lawyer both were pretty pointed with their responses, and they both fizzled too. I don't know if we're still debating things. Lawyer and I took our debates over to an Islam post or account, a couple comments, and then done. Anyways, people can be mean. You gotta deal with it with kids, like try to explain to them why that is and why it doesn't need to be. You need to be careful about it. And then trying to tell the rest of the world that. Although I did like one guy's response. There's this video, this TikToker that was like angry at people excited for the Super Bowl. I think because like the Super Bowl ads, which he's right, like to a point. The Super Bowl ads are insane. Like there's so much money spent on those things, both in the production and then just the slot, the time space for that many viewers. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. So this guy's response was, "What am I supposed to, or what TF am I supposed to do? Like just me, one person. What am I gonna turn off my TV and live in a sour world because there's bad in the world? Like, and he's right. Like, what are we supposed to do? Maybe not keep sending, tens of billions of dollars over there in weapons. Like, I mean, we're not even, for the most part, I mean, yeah, there's like aid package. I don't even know how much is money. See, there's a tree on the edge again. It's cool. I don't know how much of it is just like straight up cash or, is it all in weapons like tanks, helicopters? Like, what are we sending? We've basically already sent like everything under the sun, like a whole army over there, which we just got rid of our other one. That's like that. It's a mix between Easy E's crashing his car, and also just like, I don't know, the throwaway culture. Like, here's an entire military setup. Like, here's a pocket military in one package. Like, there you go. Humvees, tanks, missile systems. How is Russia not scared of this? Like, the Cuban Missile Crisis. We've proven in our history, not my history. I don't think I was alive at the time. And I know I wasn't alive at the Cuban Missile Crisis time, but like the end of the Cold War, I don't know when that was. I think that was either early 80s, mid 80s, or late 80s. I'm late 80s for even just being born, but let alone being able to actually function and think and have an opinion. Not till much later, like 90s. Even then, I was caught up with Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, so they could do statues of Pikachu or a Magic the Gathering thing or whatever. Or statues of famous scientists back in the day. Anyways, I still just really like the Putin interview because it gave a human side to Putin. And that's what we need to remember is these are people on the other side. These Russians that are getting blown up by the Ukrainians and the Ukrainians that are getting blown up by the Russians, they're all someone's, you know, dad, brother, son, mother, sister, daughter. Like, and there are a lot of women in there fighting too, and just constantly seeing hardship and bloody people and in the mud and the cold and just like in this like hellscape. For what? For an imaginary painted border and like a couple of taxes? Like what we need to do is we need to remove all tariffs and all hardships that we're placing on everybody. Just everyone. Like we should lower our gun first because we're basically holding a gun to the world economy. Like, you better do as America say. Like, even if it accidentally topples your governments or messes things up, like a lot of Latin countries or Latin American countries. And I try to point that out. I mean, NAFTA specifically, because I remember in international business, a class that I took for my capstone and my minor, we talked about that quite a bit and how that's part of why the hardships are down in Mexico and others. Like, is because there was supposed to be a bunch of industry moving down there and a big promise of wealth and prosperity and mutually assured construction. And then, boom, like America pulled out and it's like, nope, see ya. And then, then the cartels took up power. And then because of, how messed up America and capitalism, runaway capitalism, mind you, like normal capitalism, cool. But capitalism without caps is just insanity. And that's why we need to impose the highest tax again. Like once you're starting to make so much money, and this also goes for like stock buybacks, stock trading, like in a lot of our own camp, Pelosi is a big offender of the stock trading thing. Oh no, no, it was her husband that did it. Well, what? Same thing, And same with the John Kerry. Oh, it's my wife's jet. What? No. If you had a car in the family and you both used the car, then you were both responsible for the carbon footprint of that car. Now change it to a jet. Yeah. And I still find this one meme funny, even though I like Taylor Swift. My daughter loves her music, and some of it is catchy. Some of it just aggravates me, and I think that's what it's supposed to do. Like, so, anyways, um, but the meme is that Seinfeld guy, and he's with the bald one with the glasses, and he's staring at his drink, and the caption says, "Me looking at my paper straw dissolve in my iced tea, while Taylor Swift burns like 5 tons of coal or fuel to fly her private jet back for the 13th time to go see her boyfriend play the Super Bowl." Like, or not even. I don't think he even brought up the Super Bowl. Just like see her boyfriend play football. Like, and it's right. Like how many shows she does, and I don't know. I hope that that's being addressed, or at least like the carbon offset. Like she's got a lot of money, and I'm sure she's doing a lot of good for charities. I want to say that I've heard specific things. Sorry that those sunflowers. I thought it was like some fire. So sometimes when there's lava in the wild, it can light some of the trees on fire. As you have the chunks spawn in, Oh, look, another village. Oh, I think we missed the pirate ship, but that's okay. Oh, I never finished that. So there was this kid protesting Columbus on campus. We were up on the balcony, and there was a steamroller trying to get through the plaza, and everybody else had cleared out a path for it, and like we're keeping a wide berth of it. But this one kid with a bandana across his face and sunglasses and a sign on a post laid down in front of the steamroller, like kind of far away so the steamroller can clearly see him. And he held up the sign that said Columbus is a murderer. And this was on Columbus Day. And most of the time in college, I didn't know what day it was. Like, I mean, I only knew what day it was in the sense that which class I had to get to. You know, I knew my class schedule. Was it a Tuesday, Thursday, or was it a Monday, Wednesday, Friday? And mostly I had classes in either of those two sets. Um, let's see, how far can I take this up? I love this music too. It's so peaceful. Oh, and yeah, I might not have done a whole lot for my world, but I did give one kid Minecraft. One random kid that commented on one of my videos, "Buy me Minecraft." I was like, "Do some jobs for me." No, I didn't have him be like a hitman or anything. Don't worry. I think it was some kid too, some like young kid from India. Um, and like, so I had him with my public-facing email that's on my YouTube. I had him send a bunch of thumbnails. I think 30 thumbnails, because Minecraft is like 30 bucks. So like a buck a thumbnail. That's just a picture that you can have for your YouTube videos. And I told him, and I was talking about all this all out in public in the comments of this video, because I wanted everything about this to be publicly visible. So, you know, and just in case his parents were ever like, well, what are you doing talking to strangers online? Like, well, here's the entire conversation. And then I mean, he said a couple of things in the emails, nothing sus or anything, but just like, okay, I've sent you the thumbnails. Now where's Minecraft? And he got a little anxious for a bit there, but then, and I shouldn't brag about this too much because I think it is technically against the rules. Like I sent him a couple of gift cards for Microsoft. Yes. Well, they were like Xbox gift cards, but they work for Microsoft and Minecraft and like I think the fine print said you're not supposed to send this internationally, but oh no. Oh. Oh. Ow, ow, ow. Why? Why? Oh, my drift. Oh, jeez, I'm so sick of that. All right. Ow! I'm not a fan of this. What is going on? No! No! Oh, this is not fun. Oh, just chill here. Literally chill. No, this is not funny at all. And actually, where am I supposed to be going? This way. No, this way. Oh, sorry, that was. So, anyways, it's important to know that, no matter which side, quote unquote, side you're on, you need to be able to do some self-evaluation and some soul searching and just be like, you know what? We're not the best thing ever. I mean, like, a lot of this, especially when there's life and death involved, it's okay to question this. And like Bernie Sanders is a huge hero for that kind of thinking. Like he's constantly calling out his own Democratic Party. He's like, or just the other day I saw him posting something about Gaza and how he's like criticizing some of his colleagues, like Democrats, being like, how can you be doing this, sending more? Uh, oh. it's just, and I think I'm getting to that part with this lady, but still, it's just she was, whew, just came in swinging like, how dare you, outrageous, speak against the party. That's why you got to be careful. I don't know. That's why I think the Putin interview was just so good. Just like, I mean, it wasn't, it could have been better. And I saw this reactionary video that pointed out a lot of things like, here are some questions that would have been a lot better to ask. And I was like, okay, cool. But like I said, that guy had a Ukraine flag on his wall. And so, like, right away, that he's a little biased towards, Ukraine, which is fine. I support Ukraine too. I support Russia and Ukraine. I support everybody not killing each other. Like that's my, and if people at the end of the day can shake hands, be like, you know what, why were we arguing about this? You do this, I'll do this, and I mean, I don't know. I think it's once Putin steps down and like a different president takes over, then the rest of the world will trust Russia to be actually like NATO worthy. But until then, it is kind of like, are you really serious about joining any clubs like that? And we don't know. Like, if they'd be serious now, this is really not okay. I wish I could get snowshoes. I wonder if that's a thing. Snow Walker, Frost. No. I don't know. But anyways, I'm going to take it. Looks like. Ah, no. I jinxed myself. Alright. Ah, no. Oh, man. Yeah, watch. There is probably something out there that um, would suffice for that. Why? Ah. Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. Ow, ow, what? No, no. Why? Why do you hate me so much, Minecraft? Done with this nonsense. Oh, yes. Okay, now I think as long as you can see that there's dirt under them. So, anyways, that's just it. That's the whole point of this episode. Just talking about how this one lady just kind of went like spitballing there, firing off a lot of responses, and drawing a lot of conclusions. Like she started saying, I don't even know how she phrased it, but like she brought up Nazis out of nowhere just because I said that, like I'm asking some questions concerning, in regards to the Putin interview. It's like anybody speaks out against Ukraine, and this other person did it too. Like they got really mad at me because they're like, Ukraine needs everything that we can give them to win this war. Like we owe it to them. And I'm like, what? No, I mean like, and who's putting them up to this? Like, and that was one of the things that Putin was like, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, which, no, England wouldn't do anything to meddle in foreign affairs. Like, that's all England and America does. Like, I know it. I'm not going to shy away from that. Like, we are but the colony of England that split apart and got our own independence. I mean, we pulled the Ukraine back before it was trendy. So, I mean, I definitely sympathize with them, just not to the point where it needs to be all bloody. And speaking from somewhat experience, not really, because I wasn't alive during the, revolutionary days, just like I wasn't alive during the Cold War days. But I know from history what we learn in school and whatnot that, you know, it was bad. A lot of people died that didn't need to. So, and for a lot of miscommunication too. That's why a lot of people just don't even want to admit it. Be like, ugh, how could we, let anyone know that we were that dumb? But yeah. Oh, this music. It's like some Wonka or something. Wonky Wonka. Here it goes. It's gonna get hyphy. And then there's my alarm. So, oh whoa. All right. Well, we are almost done exploring this, but I might sign off and do some Dark Souls. I just wanted to hop back on and say like, there's more to come. Stay tuned. But I'm gonna keep talking to this lady. And like I said, I'm gonna drop that bombshell of how there's people that don't even want women to vote because I don't think that's on a lot of people's radars. Especially, I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift hasn't heard that, or if she has, like she hasn't formed a good response to it. But I feel like we would start seeing it if people were really aware. Because I was completely blindsided when my friend, I think he's still my friend. I don't know. He won't talk to me, but that's fine. I'm gonna give him some space. But he told me he's like, yeah, I don't think women should vote. And I was like, I thought he was joking at first. I was like, wait, no, you're serious? He's like, yeah, most of the women don't even want to vote. I was like, okay, that's a lie. You ask any woman, be like, hey, do you want the right to vote? You think you should have that right? Most women are mad about the abortion rights. Not most, well, a good deal, at least half the country, but or half the women in this country. The other half are kind of probably like, oh, that's kind of sketchy. I mean, yeah, I'm glad the abortions are going to stop, but or whatever. But I mean, anyways, ta ta for now. I will see you in the next one. Maybe do finish this one off. Maybe waiting until I don't know when I'm gonna have time again next, but because I'm gonna still work, I'm just sick. So I mean, we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll do another one in the morning, if not tonight. So, all right, ta ta for now. Be kind to each other and keep an open mind and be patient with each other. That's a big thing, patience. So, ta ta, and I'll see you in the next one.